here at Waltham Park interviewing Nick Thomson. And
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about this field and what it means to you.
So when I was a young fella, this would be the first field I had my first ever rugby training on. The old man brought me down when I was 6 years old. So it's a few years ago now, but this is where it all began and this is where my journey started, and it's been a bit of a ride. And obviously I'm back here now at home, so I'd love just to share some of those moments and elaborate a bit more on it.
What high school did you go to and what's your background? I always start with those questions, but you might as well tell me a bit about the journey on the way.
So like I said, this is where it all began. Grew up in St Martin's with my family. Played all my junior rugby at Sydenham, and once I got to high school I went off to Christchurch Boys High, where I was fortunate enough to be in some pretty strong first 15s, which gave me a platform to go forward. Coming out of school I probably could have gone to a lot of different clubs, but Sydenham being my home and catching up with a few great people, Jace Ryan, Luke Thornley at the time, they easily convinced me to come home, and that's where I started playing my Div 1 rugby straight out of school, and it was a great decision.
That's awesome. You said you grew up in St Martin's, just down the road by the river. Was it St Martin's School you went to as well?
Yeah, it sure was.
Cool. I interviewed a few kids on this park a few weeks ago who also go there as well. I have to tell them about you. How's the season going and what are you doing now?
So yeah, obviously, just trying to break into that Div 1 side, staying fit, staying ready, just a young fella, chomping at the bit, but playing some Div 2 rugby, which I love. It's just great being involved in the club, running around and passing on whatever knowledge I can to the boys coming through, and still love being able to train with the Div 1 guys, and they've got such a strong squad and a lot of potential for this season, so just a real privilege to be able to hang around those guys at training and support them on Saturday, as well as still keep chipping away for the Div 2s who have got a lot of potential there to have a good season as well. So yeah, thoroughly enjoying that.
Yeah, no, I've been privileged to play a few games with you, and I've been really impressed how far you can still punt the ball. It's quite good. You're still practicing your kicks?
Yeah, that's fortunately one of the easier things you don't tend to lose with age. You can still keep a decent boot on you. The speed's not quite what it once was, but yeah, definitely the kicking thing. I've had to probably move in over the years, and my jersey number's getting a wee bit smaller, but yeah, I don't mind still standing in the pocket there and getting a couple away.
Did you have much competition with your brothers growing up?
So for me, I was quite developed early. I grew up, I was reasonably strong and fast at my age, where my brothers took a wee bit longer to get through, and going through Boys High, it's a tough school. Sometimes I was lucky I could, hide behind rugby, whereas my brothers were still sort of growing and figuring things out, so it was probably a wee bit tougher for them. But now my youngest brother Andrew, he's about there, can kick a ball from 60 metres. Daniel, he's a better athlete than I am. He's off to Finland in August to represent New Zealand at the Flag Football World Champs, hopefully qualify for the Olympics. So that's not bad at his age. He's not young either, but he's a tremendous athlete. So yeah, I think we've evened out over the years, but definitely early on I probably had the upper hand, as I developed a wee bit earlier.
That's really cool insights there. You mentioned your numbers getting smaller on the back of your jersey. What's been your favourite position to play?
I think overall would be 13, because it's got a wee bit of space and you can get typically involved a wee bit more, but wing is a position I've played all my representative rugby, and I know the position inside out. I've been taught by Robbie Deans, Ozzy McLean, some of the best coaches in the world, to sort of really focus on that particular position. So I think wing is something that I know and is second nature to me, but just anywhere really these days where I can provide some sort of value and have a good impact on the game. I love playing 10, 12, anywhere really, just whatever's best for the team these days.
Chuck me on, coach. What was training like when you played New Zealand Sevens?
Yeah, obviously everyone knows Sevens, it's a pretty tough sport. The aerobic and anaerobic base is pretty demanding, so it's just a lot of running. But when you're sort of in that environment, when you're everyone's fit, you don't have a choice to be anything else, and Titch is up there, or whoever the coach is, he's up there, so you're wanting to perform, so you just sort of push it all at the back of the mind, get 2 hours of work done, then you can go and relax on Mount Maunganui Beach for a wee bit. So definitely I was quite young. I was 20 years old when I was in the sevens, and it wore me down. I think I got a stress fracture in my foot from the volume of training. But yeah, it was just the running base, I think, was something to get used to, as I was usually pretty quick, but it was more speed endurance and being able to hold that speed over the whole game, which was always my work on. So yeah, definitely still something I need to work on today, is just that speed endurance.
That's cool, and a few key words in there that other young players could probably pick up and learn from and come ask you about if they want to know more. You're planning to stick around for a while and keep speaking into the sevens and the training base, because you're quite into that in your line of work, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I love training. If it's something I've been able to do throughout the years, it's always been able to sort of keep my fitness up, because once I finished my professional rugby in New Zealand, I went offshore, used rugby as a tool, as a way to see the world. But at the same time, even though I was seeing all these amazing places, I still didn't know what I was doing. So for me, training, going to the gym, brought me that one piece of consistency in my day that I could stick to, and gave me at least some sort of structure when, to be honest, I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I was going around the world, living in all these different places just for 1 year contracts, and training was really the only thing that grounded me in. Well, at least I knew I was doing that today, because I didn't know what was going to happen in a couple of months, so it was the one thing I could stay consistent with.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tell me your proudest rugby moment.
I'll say a couple, and then I'll say my overall one.
Yep.
I think winning a World Sevens Series title with New Zealand, that's up there. Also, my first starting debut for Canterbury on AMI Stadium, scoring 4 tries in that game in a Shield match, getting Player of the Day. Getting the Moaiska Cup in schoolboy rugby for Boys High, getting that down into the South Island for the first time in 100 years. Beating Hastings boys was another big moment, but overall my biggest moment is being able to say that rugby gave me the tools to see the world, to have so many different experiences and different cultures, and for me to be able to grow into myself and become who I am and be content with who I am because of all the amazing people I've met and the experiences I've had. And rugby's given me that, and that will forever be the best thing that the sport's giving me. Like the people I've met and what I've been able to see and achieve through those things.
Thank you. Well, what would you say to someone junior or senior looking to play for just down here for Sydenham Rugby?
I'd say get to Sydenham, because you'll immerse yourself in not only great resources, the great players, the great coaches. Sydenham is so well connected. I mean, this field alone, you've had future All Blacks, you've had future All Blacks coaches, you've had Crusader S&C coaches just come through just this patch of grass. It's like filled and enriched with history, so you're always around people, and what I would recommend is you really embed yourself in the Sydenham family and do the little things, like add value where you can, even if it's with your coaches, even if it's taking the cones in, taking the balls in, just be useful, and you'll get, help's always going to be there, and people are always going to want to see you achieve your goals. So just be involved as much as you can and add your input. You don't have to be the best player on the field, just got to show effort, turn up to the club rooms, be enthusiastic, be keen, and there's a lot of great people in the club that'll help you out. Thanks,
so that is really encouraging. Thank you. Well, look, I know you got to run and I got to run, so we're going to have to heat this interview up a wee bit. I'm going to hit you with the hot seat, and you have to answer these questions as quickly as possible. Are you ready?
Okay.
What is your favourite dance to pull out on the dance floor?
It's probably something quite dynamic and explosive through the hip region. I like to warm into things, and then I'm quite explosive through that movement.
You've known to be a type of fitness model. Who's your favourite celebrity model?
Favourite celebrity model? I'd have to say Jason Statham. Me and him share a similar hairstyle, so he's something I've always looked up to. He's not really a celebrity model, but yeah, he's someone I look up to.
Is it true you first held up a try 9 years old?
Potentially, I'm not sure.
How has being a dad changed you?
It's been the best job that I could ever dream of, and especially having my little boy be able to see me in red and blue now, it's been an extremely proud moment, and he's the best thing I've ever done, and I'm just so proud of him, and just stoked that he can see me playing for Sydenham. So.
And just to mix it up, if they made Baywatch 3 and asked you to be in it, would you be comfortable taking your shirt off?
I'd have to think about the conditions, but there's potential that I might be able to go shirtless for a couple of scenes there, through to some consideration.
Thank you for giving so much to Sydenham in rugby and featuring on our We Interview series here. It's inspiring to see you manhandling the opposition, punting the ball around and running out on Sydenham Park again as per usual. Thank you so much, Nick. Do you have any parting words or shout outs you want to make?
Just the young boys and girls coming through, if you want to make it, do the little things, listen to your coaches, be coachable, just be a good person. You see the best players in the world, they're the best players because they're great people. So whatever you can do to add value to your team, get down to training 10-15 minutes earlier, do the extras, train what you need to train to get better. Don't just train the things that you're good at, train what you actually need to do. I was guilty when I was young, I just did what I was good at. I didn't train my weaknesses, but looking back, you got to really just try and build a balanced game, and focus on things outside of rugby as well. Whatever you decide to do, just be the best at it and dedicate yourself, and you'll go far, but just make sure you enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Nick.